Hello and welcome back to Signal Boost, where we talk about makeup brands owned by people of color, immigrants, and first generation people. So today I thought we would celebrate my love of the combination of gray or pewter and bronze, kind of a mixed metal situation going on here that I have represented through my outfit. I just happen to really love the combination of that kind of warm, kind of cool, blurring the boundaries there. And what I thought I would do is create an eye look mixing together some elements of the Vesca Moonlit Dream Cream Shadow in Vela, excuse me, which has kind of a gray undertone, but then it has bronze flecks of glitter in it, and it's kind of plummy too. And then I thought we would also use one of the colors from my much loved Reine Rebelde Azteca palette. I thought we would use this color here and maybe get a little wet so it can be foiled, and we'll just celebrate those two metals together, those two tones together. And pardon the frog in my throat. I have not done any makeup today. It's actually towards the middle of the day. I knew I wanted to film, so I kind of let everything bear. So I'm just going to refresh my face with a little mist. Whenever I get a mist, I make sure there's no alcohol in it, and I don't like any additional fragrance. I just find that it lingers in my clothing, and I just prefer something fresh. It is a rose and cactus, so it has some rose water and things in it. So it has a little bit of a fresh scent when you put it on, but it's not overpowering. So I'm just going to start with my foundation, and for most of my everyday looks, I just like to do one pump, and I'm just going to dot it over the parts of my face where I need coverage the most. I find that one interesting thing about having kind of studied my face through the process of doing makeup is that I have these zones of different undertones. People talk about when you match your foundation to match it to your undertone, and really sometimes that's difficult because most of us have different undertones around our faces depending on where you're looking. So for instance, the middle of my face here, my cheeks, and around my nose, I think, and this may be true for a lot of people, I have a lot of redness, so I have more of a cool undertone. And then around my mouth, which I find fascinating, I have an olive undertone. I have kind of like a green almost undertone. And then up on my forehead, around the sides of my face, and then my neck are a little bit more golden. So what I usually do is go with something with a very neutral undertone, because I find that number one, it's going to match my neck the best. So I'm going with the undertone that's going to make this look more natural, since I like a more natural look. Did you know, by the way, that it was more common, I would say, in the 1940s and 50s to actually have, and this must have been in the US, actually have a different colored foundation from your neck so that it was super obvious that you were wearing makeup. So just very different from the kind of my skin but better second skin kind of look that we prefer now. Okay, and I'm just buffing this out. Notice I'm not wearing any concealer. I've found that concealers have been drying me out lately. I'm definitely in the market for a new one. I'm even wearing one that advertises itself as kind of serum based and more skincare like, but I'm just finding that I'm not able to do without overemphasizing my under eyes. And I actually have found, and you'll see I have a skincare video that I think is coming before this one, so you would have seen it already. I found that doing the roller with the rose quartz head is doing a lot to minimize my puffiness here. So you can still see my tear troughs as usual. That's kind of my trademark under eye look. But I find they're less prominent than they were the more that I do that. And so I do that twice a day. So there's foundation on. I am not going to powder at all because I'm trying to just keep my skin very hydrated. I don't have a lot of foundation on. So I'm going to skip the powder, even though we're going to put some powder on top. And I'm just feeling my face. You can kind of feel your skin and get a temperature of what it needs for that day. And today it's just not feeling like it needs powder. So next I'm going to put on my Vesca bronzer in Rio, which is the lightest color. It's also pretty neutral, I would say, in tone. And this is quickly becoming just my everyday routine. It gives me warmth. It makes me look and feel more alive and a little bit less like we're heading into the dead of winter. I actually love winter, but I love the weather, I love the cold, I love the coziness, but I don't love the darkness, and I do miss kind of those summery days. So the nice summery smell to this, which is not overpowering, and the warmth that it brings to my face is really nice. Excuse the frog in my throat again. Next I'm going to use the Melt Blush Duo, the Digital Dust. Oh, and I wanted to tell you that I was worried in my first video with this. I didn't want to take off the mirror cover because I love that little bee. Turns out the little bee stayed. I'm so happy. The mirror cover actually was just clear, and so I get to have the little bee and the honeycomb. So I'm super happy about that. And I just wanted to show you. So I'm just going to take a really soft brush. This on my skin tone goes on pretty strongly. So I'm going to swirl between these two colors here. And even though this is mauve, it does have a little bit of a golden bronzy type finish to it. So I think it's going to go really well with this look. I'm just going to put it on really lightly just to give that pop of color, because this is just very pigmented and strong on my skin. And I don't want the blush to be the total star of the show here. So nice glow on the cheeks here, on the top, because I mixed in, well, they both have sheen, but this one especially, the lighter one. There. So I have kind of my base down in terms of being ready to do the eyes. And I always do base first unless I know that a shadow is going to have a lot of fallout, because most days I just like to see how I'm feeling. I like to see how the base looks and what direction I want to go next, kind of what my face is asking for. I do often think about where if I want to go warm or cool when I choose a blush, but again, I just read my face, I read my skin, and I just decide what I feel like. So I'm going to prep my eyes now with, excuse my children, I'm going to prep my eyes with the Makeup by Mario Prep and Set kit, which has 2 primers and this lovely big pan of powder, which I just love. And I am not going to worry about the pigments coming out super, super brightly on my eyes. So I'm going to use the darkest of the primers for my eye. And I still get, it's still lighter than my skin tone, so I'm still getting a little bit of assistance with bringing out the colors. And this is the light palette because of my skin tone, but they do have the medium and the deep color stories. This is the reality of life, by the way. If you come here looking for a perfectly curated luxury kind of experience, which some YouTubers do just so well, and I really enjoy it, and it's kind of an escape for me. Anyway, you're not going to find that here because we have life going on all around us all the time, and I love it, but it means that you're not going to get super quiet videos. And I'm just going to dust my eyelids with this wonderful soft vanilla powder that is just going to help everything blend nicely. not going to do a very heavy layer of it because I'm going to use a cream shadow, and I'm also going to wet my brush for a more foiled look for the bronze. So I thought what I would do first, I can't decide whether I want to go with the bronze color or this purple first. I think I want to go with the bronze first and lay that down, and then what I want to do is do the cream shadow as a liner with an angled brush and just see how that goes. So, little random tip, but when I do wetting my shadows, what I prefer to do is actually dip into my shadow first, then spray my brush, and I dip it in on both sides of my brush so I don't have to dip back in or dip back in less. And that just helps keep the shadows from becoming too impacted. Sometimes if you get moisture into the shadows, they get hard packed, which is not, I mean, you can scrape them off, but I would just rather avoid that if possible. So I am just going to cover both sides of my nice flat brush here with this shadow, this bronzy kind of color, and I'm going to take that same mist that I used for my face, and I'm just going to lay down nice bronze. Oh, I love that. I love thinking about colors in terms not just of the colors of the rainbow, but the colors of metal. And really, there's every kind of undertone and variety in the colors of metals than there is in plants and animals and other parts of nature. I'm going to put a good bit of that on just to lay down that nice bronzy base. Bring it up just a little bit, because my eyes are slightly hooded now. Just let it peek over the top, so that when you look straight on, you have a little bit above the crease there. And now we have the bronze down. So next, I'm going to use this cream shadow as liner. So I'm just going to squeeze out a little bit. This, I cannot express to you how a little bit goes a long way with this shadow. It is just so beautiful, and it takes so little to do what you need to do. So I'm going to squeeze out just a little bit onto my hand. It's got that purpley, this does a lot. It's bronzy, it's purpley, it has a little bit of a gray to it. It's really a fascinating shadow. So I'm just going to, this is the first time I'm doing this, so we'll see how it goes. I'm just going to go right on the lash line and make a nice line here. Ooh. I'm loving that. And it's going over that bronzy shadow pretty well. I was afraid that it wouldn't adhere well enough if there were shadow, and I'm just gonna not quite wing it up, but just lift it a little bit here, and I'll clean that up. I guess it is kind of turning into a wing. All right, now I'm going to quickly go over to the other eye, because one thing about this Vesca cream shadow is that it dries so fast. It sets really quickly. You don't have very much playtime at all, which is fine. It's just information. And actually, if you have quite a bit of folds and wrinkles and things in your eyes, as those of us of a certain age have, it's nice to know that you are going to have something set down quickly enough that you don't have to worry about things getting stuck in there while it's still setting. So I'm just laying a little bit more on here. And I am definitely going to clean up those edges because this is not looking even between the sides. Okay, friends and neighbors, unfortunately, I was not recording the entire eye look that I did here. So I still wanted to show it to you. I really like it. I like how it turned out. So I thought I would just come back and show you what the finished look is like. So we have that Moonlit Dream Cream Shadow and Vela from Vesca Beauty as my liner. And then we have the kind of bronzy color from the Azteca Quad from Reine Rebelde. See, I'm missing a little bit there. Maybe I will touch that up. And I made myself a little freckle with some errant mascara. That was an accident. I did my mascara, I did my brows. I'm wearing some Fenty Glass Mom in Fenty Glow to give everything kind of a sheen. And I'm really happy with the way the look turned out. I'm really enjoying it, and I really enjoyed putting it on. These days I'm really not going anywhere and I'm not showing anyone my makeup except for you all lovely people. So I'm really just focusing on that sensory experience of putting it on. And let me tell you, using that Vela as a liner was really a wonderful experience. You could just, swiping it on, you could just see that glow and that gleam. Worth it for that experience alone. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look and this video. I would very much like it if you would like it and you would subscribe, because the more people who subscribe, the more we can play. So please tell your friends, come back, comment about some products that you would like me to use and try, and about what you liked about the video and what you didn't. And I will see you next time. Bye.